Hi there, it's Karen from Vintage Style Journals. Just going to do my next page in my little journal here, just as a reminder. This gorgeous little thing will be a giveaway for some lucky duck. And I just want to quickly flip through and show you where I'm at. Front page, middle flap, next page, here we go, nearly there. As I mentioned earlier in my other videos, I'm just going to do the basic journal, and whoever gets this can decorate the rest of it themselves. I'm going to probably send off some bits and pieces to the winner of this little book. So yeah, we're just up to the last page here, and then I've actually put some beautiful vintage wallpaper here, so that's nice and strong. I noticed the last time I painted here, there's a little bit of a line through there where the fold is. So I don't think that can be avoided, but I'm going to try and doctor the colour of the rose and that, so that it doesn't look too outrageous. I'll just, yeah, again, I've done that, and all we've got here is this page here and then the back page. I'm not sure what I'll do, whether I might even put some different wallpaper or something on the back just to give it a real strength at the back. Okay, so we're up to here, and what I've decided to do is a little bit of mixed media again. So I'm going to be using the Jo Sonja Rose Gold to paint in the middle here, and then I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to place some black in the journal, and I've come up with a gorgeous, I have this beautiful roll of vintage wallpaper here, and I'm going to mirror each side here with using this. So yeah, that was my bear. You can see there I've got my bear suit on. It's a little bit cold here in Adelaide today. I'm off to Perth tonight, so I just thought I'll just hang out in my jammies until I have my shower and get ready to go. So yeah, that's what I plan to do. And in the middle, I'm going to be painting the rose gold. So I'm going to start off with the rose gold, and I'm just going to pop the paint straight down onto the actual surface today, and just paint it out pretty much. So I'd say that's probably overkill, but let's see. I'm using a dry brush so that I'm not watering down the paint in any way, but I think this is going to look pretty awesome. Again, you know, you just use what you've got if you're following along with me, trying to you know, do the interesting things that I've come up with in my way of ideas. I think I put too much paint on there, but it doesn't matter, it's going to give it a little bit of texture anyway. This paint is pretty self-leveling, but because I'm using a dry brush, there's no fluid whatsoever in this paint, and as I said, I probably used quite a bit. I'm going to whack it with the heat gun in a minute, just so that we can keep moving along with the next step that I'm looking to do. Okay, so I'm going to just hit this with my heat gun for a bit, just to get this touch dry paint. Doesn't look much now, but it'll probably look a little bit better when I'm done. Trying not to actually go too low on this, because I don't want it melting the actual paint so that it bubbles up. I just don't want to be putting my hands in it either while I'm doing my other little bits and pieces. So I think that'll do for now. Just to the height of the book, roughly. And I'm going to be gluing that down in a little while, but I'm going to be doing something else beforehand. But it's right on, you know, just before the crease here. So I can't think. I suppose it just depends on your measurements, really, of what you're doing. That's just 85 centimetres wide, and where are we, 160 centimetres long. That's the size of this actual piece of card, and I've cut two of them exactly the same. I might have wrecked my stamp here. I put some paint on it earlier and I can't get the blooming paint off. It'll come off. It's just a matter of persevering. I'm just trying to do it quickly so that I can move along with this. Right, okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just move this aside for a bit. I'm going to stamp these, and because I'm kind of mirroring the page here, the spread, I suppose, of both pages. It doesn't have to be exactly the same on either side, but I'm going to try and get it, you know, reasonably so. So I just want to go ahead and stamp these with this beautiful butterfly from the IOD collection. You'll probably see it now because it's got paint all over it. That's not a problem. I'm going to also be using the white Stampin' Up ink. I mentioned earlier in my previous video that, just move those aside, put that over here. The Stampin' Up ink pads stay reasonably damp, so they're a really good option to use if you're going to be embossing. And I'm thinking about embossing again. I may not, but I like the idea of it, but I like the idea of the white butterfly. Yeah, so what I'm going to do is I've got my little butterfly here and I've got some white Stampin' Up ink on it. I'm just going to make sure that that's got a nice, nice covering because I want it to be beautiful. I want the ink to be seen so that when I put the embossing over it, it's actually going to be, I think I overdid the ink there, but anyway, yeah, it's going to be seen better. So I'll just pop it down, give it a good solid press. Oh la la, I like it. Okay, just keep moving along with the butterfly. Actually, it's not a butterfly. It's actually, gee, I don't know why I'm saying butterfly. Anyhow, it's a dragonfly. I do that a lot. I've got something in my head and I just keep going with it. And I know it's wrong and I look at it, I think, hang on a minute, that's not a butterfly. That's a blooming dragonfly. So sorry about that. Alrighty, so bear with me. We'll just do, I'm going to be doing both of these pieces. So it'll take just a wee minute. Everything looks better in odd numbers. That's why I'm putting 3 on. Okay, so I'll just move that one aside. I've got a very wet ink pad here, but maybe I'm just being a little bit too conservative, going to put this one up a little bit higher. Just trying to not overdo the ink because I don't want it to be fuzzy. I want it to be a sharp sort of stamping. That's a bit better. And yeah, just putting enough ink on so that I at least get the white. Just make them a little bit different. Go up a bit. There's a couple of steps to this, and hang in there with me and we'll get to them. But it's just something that I think I've done in one of my other journals, my personal journal, and I quite liked it. I thought, oh, I must do that again sometime. So you will see it in a moment, but we're going to do the embossing. I think I'm going to pop the clear embossing powder over this. I've already tried the stamp on the back and mucked it up, so you're seeing the second version of this one. Just shut my stamp pad. Alrighty, so I've got some clear embossing powder here. I'm just going to pop those on the background here so I can I'll get it all over my desk. Just put the embossing powder on and see how the stamp still keeps its dampness. And with the stamping up, if it doesn't, all you need to do is breathe some hot air on it before you put the embossing powder on, obviously. And it'll dampen up a little bit for you. I'm not a Stamping Up rep or anything like that. I've just got quite a few of their products. Like I have got many products from many, many sources. I like to share the love. All right. The dragonflies, hopefully will come out with the embossing design. Enough embossing powder rather will be over them to bring out the, yeah, see how I picked it up? That's pretty awesome, isn't it? So you don't need a Versamark. If you don't have one, just use your stamp pads that you do have. And you may need to, if it's not the Stamping Up set, you may need to, you know, just dampen them up a little bit with your breath even, just sort of breathing out some warm air onto them, just so that they're a little bit damp, because most ink pads, and well, they're not all alcohol based, so there could be a little bit of oiliness in them. So just give it a try and see how you go. If you've got a Versamark, use that. It's ideal. But for those of you who don't, then you might just give it a shot with your other. I'm going to emboss this. And I'm going to just blow it with a heat gun. Hopefully I won't blow them off the table. You'll see them come up a little bit shiny because it's the clear embossing powder that I put on here. Anytime now. There we go, it's starting to melt down a little bit. Embossing powder is really just made up of a certain type of bead, plastic bead, and when they're melted they just obviously raise up a little bit and give you that lovely surface. I might have almost lost my colour there. Maybe I should have done them in the white embossing powder. Never mind, I can see them, and you can probably see them on there anyway. They're not, the embossing is not the main thing. White would look really cool, or even a metallic colour, you know, like a beautiful metallic blue, something that you would picture in a dragonfly's wings, but then you'd have to do them a little bit separately, you know, do the wings and do the body separately, and that could be a little bit of mucking around. So they're nice and embossed, and as you can see, the colour is somewhat gone from them, but you can still get the idea that that's a nice dragonfly on there. Okay, yeah, quite good. I think that'll work. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to work one at a time here, and I've just got this pretty rank little cutting mat. It's just a smaller cutting mat that I've got, and it's been used umpteen times, so it's really not perfect. I must buy a new one soon. Okay, so what I want to do is I just want to, I've got a scalpel here, so just a throwaway type scalpel. But you can use just a normal craft cutting knife, whatever you've got. What I want to do is I want to raise up the wings. So I'm actually just going to cut around the wings, and I think I'll put my glasses on to do that. Otherwise I could cut into the head and not even know it. Alrighty, that's better. I can see. So I'm just going to turn it on its side and just make sure it's all dry. Sometimes if it's not dry, it'll be nice and sticky. So I'm just going to cut around the edge of the wings, pressing down, so I'm hoping it's going through. No, it's not. Okay, I've got a blunt little knife here by the looks of it. I'll have to find another one. Maybe I'm just being a little bit conservative and not pressing enough. Okay, no, that's my knife. Alrighty, I'll try this one. See if it cuts better. Obviously, if you're using a craft knife, you're going to have greater success. I just used a blunt scalpel. Imagine using that on someone's body. Oh, not good. Anyway, so I'm going to basically cut around the wings. I'll just do them slowly for you so that you can see, and I'll turn the camera off and do the rest on camera, off camera rather. I'm pressing quite firmly because I just don't want to keep having to go over the blooming thing. Okay. Yep, that's doing the job nicely. Just cut the ends. If you're agile with your fingers, you can just do it all in one fell swoop. I tend to go in the same direction with things. If for instance I've got two going this way, I'll do that way first, that direction, and then I'll do anything that's across after. Or you can just, you know, do your own thing obviously, but the idea is that I've got these wings that are going to come up like that when I've put this down on my page. I'll just cut around this one. I'm leaving the body. Now the reason why you'll need to have a little bit of space on the edge here is because we're going to lift this wing up, and you want to stick this to the actual surface of the page. Okay, so I think you get the gist of what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to probably just finish this little dude here and then cut the others out. And because it'll be a little time consuming, I'm going to actually do that off camera, but I just want to bring this back in and show you. This is how it's going to look once it's placed down onto the page. So you've got some wings that are going to come up. Might not look a lot now, but it will look, and it'll look nice when you finish the page. You don't have to do all the wings. If you just choose to do one side, that'll look quite cool. I'm going to do all of them because I've done all of them on here, and I'll come right back. Right, so here we are. Finished the two of them. Just cut them out. So just the wings. You can cut whatever you want out, but I just think the wings look cool. You don't have to cut the whole thing out like the rest of the tail or anything like that. So I'm just going to turn it over, pop some glue around the edges, and glue this baby down. Okay, so obviously we're not going to glue the wings down, but I think it's good to glue everything else down. So I'm just going to randomly put glue all over, apart from the wings obviously. I like this glue. I'm having really good success with it. It's not like those expensive ones that go really hard very quickly. Just pop that little tiny bit there. Obviously in between the wings there's some real fine little areas. You do want to glue those down as well, otherwise they'll just catch on the wings. And just spend a bit of time and do a good job. Getting a bit gluey, glue. I could have done this off camera, but then you wouldn't see how useless I am with glue. It doesn't matter what it looks like on the back, obviously. Oops, I got the wing. Silly me. I'll go back and get that off in a minute. So basically you just want it to be stuck down well. I think that should do it. I did get a wing there. This one here, it's all right. Just pull that one up so I don't stick it down. Right. I'm just lining it up with the edge-ish. Got some glue on my fingers, don't mind. I'm a messy girl. So what you're looking for is really just to have the wings sitting up. So yeah, don't be as messy as me. Just do your glue thing. Like, you're probably very good at this sort of thing, more so than what I am. Have to fix that now. Annoyances. Anyway, making sure the wing's not going to stick down. That'll do. I'll do the other side off camera. You don't have to watch both sides being done. So I'm just going to, oh, I knew I'd forgotten something, my scissors. I'm just going to cut a strip of this wallpaper and butt it up against the side there. Because it's been a rose book, I felt like I couldn't not put a rose in there. So, oh, gorgeous, gorgeous little roll. Hopefully I'm going to cut it straight. Now this is probably pre-pasted, but I'm not going to wet it. I think I'm just going to actually glue it straight down with the glue. So instead of putting it on there, I'm just going to go along the edge. Make sure I get the width of it. I shall do it on the outside of. Okay. That's why I did the painting first, because I just wanted it to sit over the top. There's a lot of glue underneath that, so I could slide it a little bit. But if you've got some nice wallpaper or, you know, some lovely paper, that would look equally as lovely on there. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this. I've got glue on there, which I'm not happy about. I might put a flower on it or something. Oh dear. What am I going to do? I've got plenty of other stamps and I've got plenty of stickers, but I don't want to take away from the overall appearance of that. So I might come back to that later, not to worry about it. But that's just the general idea. And I think that's going to look gorgeous on this side as well. So I'll go ahead and do that off camera and I'll come back with the finished result. All right, so here we are again, all done. Done both sides here. You can see I quite like the way that it's looking. A little mirrored page, well, somewhat a mirrored, both the same on either side. Although with this one I actually decided I would put the roses up that way rather than falling down there. It's just obviously a repetitive pattern. But now to fix this little doodah, so what I've decided to do is just mix up some paint, and I'm just going to, yeah, I might just mix up what I've got on my wet palette. Still got that wet palette playing here, which is kind of crazy. But I just want to make up a green that's similar to the green on the leaves here. And just see if I've got enough variety of colour on my paint palette to do that. Maybe not. Maybe I should just go and get the green. Yeah, not working. Okay. Right, so I'll just get some green paint, and because I just want to get that colour going there. Okay, so the colour that I've got here is the Jassonia Antique Green. I'll just put a little bit of that on my palette. Hang in there with me. Nearly there, but I've got to fix the boo-boo because it's giving away. I'm not going to give this away with a little mess on it. Okay, so I've got the green. I'm just going to grab some of my liner brush here. If you've got, you know, anything like the markers, you know, the brush markers, that'll do the same job. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to try and work in with this design here. I'll just pull the colour over a little bit. Perfect match. Kind of looks like it's meant to be there. So a happy accident. And just put a couple of little bits on there. Maybe another one down here. I'm doing the green first. I may do a little leaf or something as well, but what I plan to do is just a few more forget-me-nots over here. Obviously, I don't have to do it on that side, and I probably won't do it on that side. Don't want it to look, you know, too matchy-matchy. All right. I love that green. That's antique green, that one. Alrighty. So the forget-me-nots are just going to be a couple of little dots, and I think I've got an overkill brush here, but it's not the colours, so I just need to get the colours somehow here on my palette. Going to blend a little bit of that antique green with it, because it's kind of like a dirty blue, and I've got the blue there going now, and all I've done is I've mixed a bit of Pacific blue and the antique green, and I've come up with the perfect colour, which is great. I'm loving it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop some little dots. You can see that's all these things are, so some little dots, maybe over there. Holding my breath while I'm doing this is kind of bizarre. I don't know why. I think because you've got more control over the brush when you hold your breath. I'm using this main colour just to match in with these colours here, but I'm just going to finish it off again in a minute. I might just put some more over here on this one. Just 5 little dots, and they're not even perfect dots because my brush is a little funky at the end there. I've probably just used the wrong size brush for it, but I'm going lightly. Again, you can do this, and you don't have to have a black background. I just chose black because I think that the embossing stands out better on it. But you can choose any background colour you like if you're going to give this a go. Okay, now I'm going to just grab some white, dip it into my blue mix just to come up with a steely kind of blue colour, just to give a little bit of highlight to each of these little dots. keeping the background colour. It stands out better on the black too if you've got a little bit of an extra highlight with it. I don't want it to be perfect because this is a vintage design here. I just want it to be something that looks reasonable, really. So that's the outside of them. And you can see that all it is just a matter of a few dots. Just washing my brush out, and I'm going to put some yellow in the centre. The yellow that I've got on my palette will do very nicely. And then I'm going to put a tiny little red spot like this one here. Oh, went a bit overboard there. And you can see how very quick that was. I'll get my liner brush again and pop a bit of, looks like an orange. I'll go with a red, just a tiny little dot like that one. While I'm at it with the liner brush, I might just go a little bit lighter down the stem as well, add a little bit of white, just so you've got some interest. It's not all just a flat green look. A bit shaky, I haven't had anything to eat. Gonna give that one something to hang on to. I'm not normally this shaky with my brush, it's just I'm hungry, I think. Okay, so that looks a bit better. Oh, I think that fixed the boo-boo. What do you think? Look, I really hope that this has been a cool little series. We've just got the back page to go now, and I just have to figure out how I'm going to finish it off, because I love every page, but the front page I think is my favourite at the moment, and perhaps I might do this on the background. I just don't want it coming off, because the crackle paste can actually lift up if it's too heavy, and if this is going to get a bit of a workout as a journal, I don't know if I want, maybe I will do the same as the front, only just the crackle background, but I don't want it coming off for the person who gets this as a giveaway. So if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please consider it. And if you've enjoyed watching me boo-boos and all with this lovely little not butterfly, dragonfly page, then yeah, give me a thumbs up, and I'll be with you again very shortly to finish off the journal. Thanks again for watching.